Hello. Welcome to the Evesham Township Housing and Mortgage Assistance webinar. My name is Stacy Webb, and I am the Deputy Director of Community Development of Evesham Township. I'm joined by Commissioner Felicia Hodson, Councilwoman Gina Marie Espinoza, Malika Morris from the Burlington County Housing Hub, and Jesse Crawford from the New Jersey Housing and Mortgage Finance Agency. This webinar is being recorded, and there will be an opportunity for questions at the end if there are any for questions and answers period. I am now pleased to introduce Councilwoman Gina Marie Espinoza. Gina Marie Espinoza lives in Evesham and currently resides in the Kings Grant neighborhood, where she moved to start her family with her husband, George, and daughter, Hazel. She was born and raised in New Jersey and grew up in South Jersey. Gina Marie attended Rider University and received a Bachelor of Liberal Arts and Sciences in Political Science with a minor in Law and Justice. Gina Marie's career and passion is for serving the public. Presently, she serves the community as a staff member for a local congressman, working on constituent services. Every day, Gina Marie goes to work to assist members of the public, listening to their concerns and working with government agencies, nonprofits, and other organizations to find solutions to the difficulties they have experienced. Over the years, she has helped individuals avoid foreclosure and modify their mortgage, assist individuals with mutual concerns such as pothole repairs, property flooding, receiving or fixing Social Security, health insurance, and veterans benefits, in addition to working with small business owners, connecting them with organizations that can assist them in getting their business off the ground. She has also been involved in building, guiding, and supporting nonprofits, local municipalities, and first responders on how to supply and assess grants. Gina Marie is proud to call Evesham home and stays active in town, serving as the liaison to both the Disability and Veterans Advisory Commission, as well as on the Evesham Farmers Market. I am pleased to allow Councilwoman Gina Marie Espinoza to speak.
Thank you so much, Stacy Webb. We really appreciate you providing this and putting this event together tonight. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for attending. I am Councilwoman Gina Marie Espinoza, and I want to thank you personally for joining our Evesham Township Housing and Mortgage webinar. Tonight, we are holding this webinar because we want to make sure that all of you have the assistance and the information that you need in regards to housing and mortgage assistance in the state of New Jersey. We also want to mention that if you are looking for affordable housing, all of the townships affordable housing, all townships have an affordable housing representative, including Evesham, and all of our information regarding our affordable housing options are available right on our homepage. And you can just click a nice big button that says affordable housing. It'll bring you right to that information. I do want to also mention that on March 15th, the state of New Jersey's moratorium on utilities does end. And if you do have any needs for assistance financially with utilities, then I would recommend reaching out to 211. With that said, tonight we have an amazing panel this evening, starting with Burlington County Commissioner Felicia Hodson. Then we'll move on to Malika Morris with our Burlington County Housing Hub. And finally, we'll end with Jesse Crawford from New Jersey Housing Mortgage Finance Agency. To start off, we have our wonderful Commissioner, Felicia Hodson. Felicia Hodson is a resident of Willingboro and is a Vice President of Operations for a financial services company. The Commissioner earned her bachelor's degree in English from Benedict College in Columbia, South Carolina. She went on to earn her master's degree in business administration from Willingboro University from Wilmington University in Wilmington, Delaware. Felicia has earned her Six Sigma Green Belt certification from Villanova University with a specialization in financial services. Felicia is pursuing her doctorate degree in business administration with a specialization in leadership and a specific focus in servant and transformational leadership theories from Capella University. Felicia was an adjunct professor at Rowan College of Burlington County and has also taught at Middlesex County College, Mercer County College, Atlantic County College, and University of Phoenix. In addition to being an adjunct professor, Felicia also taught professional development sessions in personal branding and leadership. Outside of work, Felicia is very active in her community. She served on the Willingboro School Board for 4 years and held the office of Vice President and President. During Felicia's term as on the school board, there was a 28% increase in students participating in the PARCC testing, an increase in academic achievement in English and in mathematics, and 5 consecutive years of increased graduation rate from Willingboro High School. Additionally, Felicia is active with the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, Inc., Theta Phi Omega chapter. She has been a member of her sorority for over 25 years, and she joined the Theta Phi Omega chapter in 2013 and has served on several committees. She serves as our Burlington County Commissioner. She serves as the liaison to Health and Human Services and for elections. With that said, thank you so much, and I will hand off the mic to our Commissioner Felicia Hodson.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman. I appreciate it. And again, thank you so much for the invitation to be here this evening. It is my pleasure to join you all to talk to you about housing and mortgage assistance. We know how difficult it can be and currently is. Outside of being on the end of a pandemic, we know that housing and mortgage assistance is crucial to our community. It was crucial before the pandemic. It will continue to be crucial after the pandemic. So what we're doing here at Burlington County is making sure that we have services that our residents know about, and we are doing our best to make sure they know about them. So webinars such as this is extremely important to us at the Board of Commissioners. So on behalf of my colleagues, I say thank you and I greet you, and I am grateful to be here. I'm just going to share a few statistics with you, and then I will turn it back over to Malika to go into some deeper dives about the Housing Hub and what we're doing there. So we know the current situation is really challenging with COVID when it comes down to housing. And we want to make sure that the families who are struggling have the best information to help relieve some of their economic impact that they're experiencing through this health crisis that we're all in. We now know that it's going to be even more turmoil because of what's happening in Ukraine. So while we don't feel it right now, we will feel it based off of what's happening in Ukraine. So some of the things that I'm going to share with you today will likely change over the next couple of days and couple of weeks because of what's happening globally. Right. And we're all paying attention and we see what's in the news. And while our hearts go out to the families and residents in Ukraine, we know that the impact downstream will continue to affect us for months and months to come. So here's what we're looking at currently in Burlington County. We know that to buy a home, the prices have increased drastically. This is what we know for sure. Real estate website Redfin calculated the median Burlington County home sale price in January was $310,000. That's up 17% from January of 2021. So just imagine what that looks like if you were literally trying to buy a home. 3 years ago, the median sale price in Burlington County was around $200,000. So while I say 17%, but when you think about it, it's over $100,000 more to buy the same home that you would have been interested in a couple of years ago. That is huge for someone who has been steadfast at working at their current company and, has, lives on a fixed budget and is just looking for, more opportunity and, looking to focus on their American dream. It's going to be even more challenging because of the increase in buying homes. Housing cost, just housing costs, the United States has increased. My apologies, housing costs has increased. So the United States Census Bureau estimated the median monthly housing costs for Burlington County households with mortgages was $2,400 in 2019. Well, it's up 3%. It's up from 3% in 2016. So we're steadily seeing this increase, and we're going to continue to see more increases as we continue to have some challenges locally and obviously internationally. Renters have also been challenged. So we have to make sure that we're paying attention to our renters as well as folks who want to buy homes. According to the National Low Income Housing Coalition, the market rent for a 2-bedroom apartment in Burlington County last year was $1,260. To afford that, a household would need to earn at least $50,000 annually or over $24 an hour. While these numbers may not be impactful to some, they're extremely impactful to a lot of people out there. $50,000 is a lot of money for a lot of people. So we have to pay attention. So we can't think about our current situation. We need to think beyond. Some of us may have the luxury of having success in our careers. Some of us may have the luxury of having a 2-income household. Not everyone has those luxuries. So to earn $50,000 a year just to be able to afford $1,200 rent, that's impactful. That's impactful. The coalition found that the Burlington County renters earn a mean average of $18. So if you make $18 a year, technically you can't even afford a 2-bedroom apartment, which is very challenging. So we are going to continue to do our best to assist our residents. We're going to be here for them and help them in any way that we can. And we want to make sure that this information is being heard and the information is readily available. Burlington County has always made assisting residents a priority. And working with partners like the state of New Jersey, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, we've been able to help distribute groceries, which has been extremely helpful throughout our pandemic. We know that a lot of families are also food insecure, as well as not having the money to, pay for rent, or you shouldn't have to decide if you're going to pay for rent or you're going to buy food. That should not happen. So we've been steadfast in making sure that we assist with food insecurity. We've also helped with foreclosure and eviction issues for some residents. Our programs have been lifelines throughout the pandemic, and we're committed to continuing them as long as they are needed. So now, Councilwoman, I will turn it back over to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Felicia.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And you're so right. It is going to get a lot harder.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we are here. We want to make sure that you do have the access to that information and these services. And the county is a great resource. And we're about to hear from Malika Morris, who heads up one of the best departments in our county, which is the Burlington County Housing Hub, which of course our commissioner was instrumental in creating and forming. So thank you for that. With that said, Malika Morris, she has obtained her bachelor's degree in English and Spanish from the Hampton University in Hampton, VA, Virginia. Upon completion of her bachelor's, she matriculated at Rutgers University Graduate School, where she graduated with a master's in public administration with specializations in international public service and community development. Malika's professional expertise is in public affairs with an emphasis on public health, community organizing, and human services. In her current role as the Deputy Director of Burlington County Department of Health and Human Services, Malika assists in the planning, organization, and coordination of the functions, programs, and activities of the department. She directly oversees community outreach, special projects, and the Burlington County Housing Hub. Her responsibilities include establishing and maintaining cooperative working relationships and with organizations and groups interested or involved in the work of the community, reaching disadvantaged populations in the county, and closing service gaps, including that which exists between community and government. Malika also chairs the Burlington County Minority and Equal Rights Task Force. Thank you so much. And with that, I will turn it over to Malika Morris. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Espinoza, and thank you again for having me. I do have a brief PowerPoint that I'm going to share with you all. So if you can see my screen, I'm going to tell you first what the Burlington County Housing Hub does. We exist to provide assistance and advocacy for all residents of Burlington County, regardless of your income. We are here to serve you if you are homeless, at risk of homelessness, housing insecure, or experiencing any hardship. Our only criteria is that you be a Burlington County resident. So we have implemented a process, and what is greatest about our process is that we put the people before the process. Everyone in the Housing Hub is a housing assistance advocate. And we did this intentionally so that they're not a housing specialist or a housing coordinator, but we're advocating for our county residents to get the services that they need. So the Housing Hub is the central point of entry, and the only time that you are turned away is if you do not have an income or if you receive SSI, because we coordinate with other agencies. And if you don't have an income and you receive SSI, you are eligible for the Board of Social Services, which also sits in our building. We simply do a referral and they assess you and you still access the services. However, if you have an income, you receive SSD, or you do not qualify for the board, you will be sent to us. So what happens when you're sent to us is we assess you. We figure out what placement you best identify with, what coordinating agency would be able to serve you best, and if there are multiple agencies that need to collaborate to get you to your desired outcome. And then instead of giving you paperwork, we provide a linkage to that agency and hold them accountable for assisting you. During that assessment, we've helped to eliminate the runaround process because we now have direct contacts with these agencies who coordinate with us to pick up every individual client that calls or emails the Housing Hub. You will be seen and you will be served. So our coordination includes the affordable housing list for those who are waiting for that ideal home that they want that exists in the county, emergency food, emergency shelter, and this exists both in the summer and in the winter times. Code blue is something that's familiar to everyone when you just absolutely have to get off the street because it is too cold. But what about in the summertime when you're on the street? It still matters. So you can call the Housing Hub and we're here to help you with emergency shelter and housing placement assistance. What is that? If you need help moving in and you need like security deposit assistance, if you need first month's rent assistance, if you don't necessarily know what's open in the county, what property management agencies have openings, we welcome you to call the Housing Hub. Many times now, due to our growth, property management agencies will call us and say, I have a handicap accessible home. I have 3 homes opening on March 1st. Do you have any one that you can sift in? We've pipelined and streamlined a process, including that of helping with rent and mortgage arrears, as well as security and utility deposit assistance. And from that, we've picked up so many agencies over the last 2 years who want to be a part of the streamlined process that help our residents access the services that they need and qualify for quicker. So here you see a lot of agencies that you're probably familiar with: Beacon of Hope, BCAP, the Board of Social Services, Catholic Charities, Christian Caring Center, Exhale Women's Fellowship, God Squad, Legacy, NJ211, Oak, St. Vincent de Paul, Servicios Latinos, VMC, and Soldier On. These are all places where before you may have had to call them, give all of your information, and then figure out if you qualify for their service or not. Now you can call the Housing Hub, give one person your information. We will assess utilizing the tool to see which of these programs you qualify for, and then with your permission, put you into the homeless management information system and coordinate your service linkage and get an agency in contact with you. So what does our coordination look like? Because we've said what we do, but a lot of times people want to know, like, who do you actually help? What does your impact look like? And that's relevant. Are county residents actually getting the resources and the services that they qualified for? I'm going to share some of our stats from 2021. So in 2021, the Burlington County Housing Hub served 2,567 unduplicated clients. Our service history, including the coordination that I mentioned above, including emergency shelter, emergency food, motel placement, housing places assistance, utility assistance, we provided 5,564 services, not including the 333 referrals that were made for the DCA COVID-19 rapid rehousing program, and 57 county residents were referred to NJDCA for emergency housing vouchers. The state of New Jersey was awarded 996 vouchers. They were available on a first come, first served basis. And if all 21 counties split them equally, we would have all received 47 vouchers apiece. The Housing Hub successfully referred almost 60 people in the time that the emergency housing voucher application was open. How do you get in contact with us? How do you access us? We are open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30. But if you ever find yourself in need after those hours or before those hours, I urge you to call NJ211. When you call, they will ask you what county you're in, and you will dial the numbers that correlate to BUR, and they will help you while we are closed. In the morning, we receive an email stating who they've placed and how they've assisted, and it is our responsibility to contact you to link you to relevant services. But if it's between 8:30 and 4:30, please call the Housing Hub. We'd be happy to help you. If you do not prefer calling people and you are an electronic system, send us an email. There are multiple sets of eyes that check the email daily. Someone will be in contact with you same day. And as always, I encourage everyone to visit our website, to follow the county Facebook page, because any program that is released, including the rapid rehousing, including emergency rental assistance and mortgage assistance, which my colleague Jesse Crawford will speak about soon, will all be accessible via the links on the Housing Hub website. And if you ever want to know what program is available, if a program is available, how you can access it, use the phone number if you're not big on internet access, and we'd be happy to assist you in navigating these resources and getting you everything that you need. Thank you for this time.
Thank you so much, Malika. That was really informative, and I love to hear all of the amazing services that you're providing to our Burlington County residents. With that said, thank you so much, and we'll move on to Jesse Crawford. Jesse Crawford is with our New Jersey Housing and Mortgage Finance Agency. He is currently the leader in outreach and marketing coordinator for this agency and has been with the agency since April of 2013. He has worked in their finance sector for over 35 years, and he is an experienced loan officer, HUD certified housing counselor, and foreclosure mitigation specialist. He is well-versed in lending options, investor guidelines, and has conducted educational housing seminars and trainings across the state of New Jersey. With that said, I'll turn it over to Jesse Crawford. Thank you so much, Jesse.
Thank you, Congresswoman, and thank you all for having me. It is a pleasure to be with you all this evening. Again, my name is Jesse Crawford. I'm the Housing and Marketing Coordinator for the New Jersey Housing Mortgage Finance Agency. And I have the distinct pleasure of traveling all around this great state, sharing vital information and resources with folks here in our state that need it badly. Today, I want to talk about two things. One is our Emergency Rescue Mortgage Assistance Program. We received about over $320 million from the federal government for this program to help folks get caught up on their mortgages and help them stay in their homes. And secondly, I want to talk briefly about our down payment assistance program for folks looking to purchase their first home and how they can go about doing that with our program. So let me just share my screen. Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
All righty, let me just minimize this here. Okay, so who are we? New Jersey Housing Mortgage Finance Agency, a little bit about us is that we provide affordable home ownership opportunities to New Jersey residents. We're a state agency out of Trenton, New Jersey, and we have a number of multifamily production programs and home ownership access programs. And we respond to the needs of New Jersey residents by simply implementing creative programs and establishing alliances that fund affordable mortgages for first-time home buyers. And we have an approved lender network that we offer our programs through. Our mission is pretty straightforward: to advance the quality of life for the residents here in the state of New Jersey and communities throughout New Jersey by investing, financing, and facilitating access to affordable rental housing and home ownership opportunities for lower and moderate income families, older adults, and individuals with specialized needs. Now, today I'm going to go over for about 15 to 20 minutes, go over our IRMA program. Again, that's the Emergency Rescue Mortgage Assistance Program. The acronym is IRMA, and it provides up to $35,000 in assistance for COVID-impacted homeowners. And I'll go through what that actually means. Also, I'm going to go over our down payment assistance program that provides $10,000 to folks to purchase their first home. They can use this for their down payment and closing costs. Now, the Emergency Rescue Mortgage Assistance Program is here to assist homeowners who are unable to pay their mortgage or other eligible housing expenses, such as property taxes, due to COVID-related hardships. As I said earlier, it's $35,000 per household. Now, this $35,000 can be used as a one-time reinstatement payment to the mortgage company or servicer to bring the homeowner current. It has to bring the homeowner current. If it does not bring the homeowner current, there has to be some type of modification in place or agreement that will then, whatever balance is left, the mortgage company or the servicer will then put those arrearages that are left to the back of the loan so that the homeowner can become current. The goal is to bring each and every homeowner who have been impacted by COVID-19 to bring them current with their mortgage one way or another. Also, if it's not a one-time reinstatement payment of $35,000 or up to $35,000, it can be up to 4 monthly payments of assistance up to $35,000. And basically, so if you have the scenario where you have a homeowner who is behind, say $5,000 on their mortgage that needs to get them caught up, there's $30,000 that they can use up to $30,000 to make four payments of their mortgage payment going forward. You have homeowners who are out of work, are still looking for work. But the great thing about this program and uniqueness about it is that you don't have to be employed. It just has to bring you current, give you a little breathing room while you're searching for employment or some other resources to bring income into the household. Some other programs in the past, you had to be employed, have a steady job or steady employment, permanent employment, I should say, in order to qualify for the program. This program is different, whereas even if you're unemployed, you can get your mortgage payments paid up for 4 months to the mortgage company while you're looking for employment. Now, the other eligible expenses are property taxes, property liens or municipal liens, even COVID-related funeral expenses can be included to be reimbursed to the homeowner. Now, the hardship eligibility is pretty straightforward. You must have experienced a COVID-related hardship after January 2020, meaning you either had a 10% reduction in income or at least a 10% increase of COVID-related expenses. The property requirements for the program, as with all our programs, first, the unit or the home has to be located here in New Jersey, and it must be the applicant's or the homeowner's primary residence. It can be a 1 to 4 family unit where the applicant or the homeowner occupies one of those units as their primary residence, and it can be a attached or detached home, a condominium unit, a manufactured home that's on a permanently affixed foundation or real property, meaning that it's affixed to a foundation and the wheels on that are removed and it's permanent on a plot of land. The income requirements, there are maximum income limits by county size. Area median income may not exceed 150% for the county that the applicant is living in. And we give a priority to applicants with an AMI under 100%. The loan criteria is the homeowner must not have been 30 days delinquent on their mortgage prior to January 2020. So in some scenarios, as I say to folks, at the end of the day, sometimes the numbers just don't lie. If the numbers are just too high, $35,000 is not going to bring them current and keep them in the home. But what I want to stress on this call is that even if an applicant does not think they qualify, we want them to put in an application and let the underwriting team decide whether or not they qualify. And why I say this is, here's a scenario where you have a homeowner who was 30 days late prior to January 2020, and they caught up, say January 22nd or February of 2020, and then they fell behind again. In that scenario, they're going to qualify for assistance. Even though they were delinquent those 30 days prior and they caught up, that's a mitigating circumstances that underwriting can look at and say, okay, this is a scenario, they were behind, they caught up, and their actual hardship started after January 21 of 2020. The mortgage servicer must be willing and able to accept the funds from this program and apply them to the homeowner's mortgage and bring them current. If they cannot do that, they will not receive the funding from this program. They can't take this funding and put it someplace else, put it in suspense, pay legal fees. It has to be applied towards bringing the mortgage current to help that homeowner move forward and get on a firm footing. So that's a great thing. And we're going to be working with those lenders or servicers as we negotiate using housing counseling agencies and our agency to get these lenders on board and apply these funds where they need to so that the homeowner can stay in the home. The structure of the assistance is pretty straightforward. It's what we call a forgivable loan. It's not a grant. It's a forgivable loan, subordinated 3 years. And basically the major requirement is that if they receive this assistance, they must live in this home for 3 years after receiving the assistance, and without selling the property, transferring it, or refinancing it as a cash out refi. However, the exception is they can refinance just a rate and term refinance prior to that 3rd year with no penalty. As long as they don't take any cash out, they're just lowering their interest rate or maybe restructuring or getting a modification, and there's no cash being transferred out of the property, they can refinance the property, which is something that's really beneficial for those folks who need a modification in addition to this assistance that they're getting of $35,000. Now, I want to talk about something that's vital for our program and the programs as a whole for the entire state. Housing counselors are the unsung heroes for any housing crisis. They were there back in 2005 when we had the housing crash, and they're here today. They're here always. And when an applicant goes to the website and put in the beginning of their application about creating a login, having that their email address verified, once they start to enter their information, they're going to then be connected with a housing counseling agency in their area automatically through the application portal. And what's beneficial about that is that they're going to work closely with that homeowner and walk them and help them step by step to complete their application. Everybody's not savvy enough, you know, no offense to anyone, but everybody doesn't know how to work a computer. So in some cases, that homeowner is going to have to go to the office of the housing counseling agency, or that housing counseling agency, depending on what their rules are, can go to that elderly person who's struggling to put their application in. They're going to work with the homeowners meet them where they are to get their applications in. They're going to ensure that the applications are accurate and all the documents are uploaded so that application can get processed and the money can get out to the homeowners as quickly as possible. In addition to that, the housing counselors are uniquely qualified to assess other resources that a homeowner needs. We all know that all of us have been affected by COVID, one way or another, in ways that we never could have imagined. Well, my experience as a housing counselor, yes, that homeowner or that couple that's sitting in front of me wants to save their home. They want to lower their mortgage interest rate and their payments. But oftentimes, when you sit there and you talk to homeowners and those couples, it's about more that's going on in that household than just the mortgage payment. There's folks that are dealing with substance abuse, depression, food insecurity, even folks dealing with mental illness and suicide. And as a housing counselor, I've experienced sitting across from a family and working for 3 months to help them get a modification. It was arduous, and at times we didn't think we were going to get it done. But when we got it done, and as I was shaking this individual's hand, I grabbed this man's hand and he broke down in tears. And I didn't understand why. I said, well, maybe he's happy he got the modification. And I asked him what was wrong. And he said to me, Mr. Crawford, you don't understand. If I didn't get a modification today, I had planned to go home and hang myself because I didn't want to embarrass my family. And those are the things that you see that gets touched the strings of your heart and know that this man needs a little bit more than just this modification. He needs to talk to somebody about those feelings and work those things out for his family. So I embraced this man. I told him he's important. I said, no piece of property is more important to you and your family. And I gave him a resource to get him some additional help. So those are the things that housing counselors endure every single day. We don't always talk about it, but we see it. And we will do whatever we can to get the assistance that homeowner needs sitting across the table from us. To access our portal, you go to NJ IRMA. Again, the acronym is Emergency Rescue Mortgage Assistance.com. And we recommend that folks use Google Chrome. It does not work very well with Internet Explorer. They can access the portal on the PC. A laptop is recommended, and they also can access it on a mobile device. Again, Google Chrome they'll have a better experience entering the application. If the individual does not have access to a computer, as I said earlier, they can work with the housing counseling agency, and that housing counseling agency will upload the documents for them. This is the interface for the application portal. 2 places where they can actually start their application. They can click on apply here, or they can click on, let me go back, I'm sorry about that. Or they can click on the begin application icon here. There's a frequently asked questions that should answer just about all the questions they might have about the application process and documents that they have to upload. What's going to happen once they click on apply, there's going to be a pre-screen, I think it's 6 pre-screen questions. And those questions basically ask, is this your primary residence? Is it in the state of New Jersey? And did you have a COVID hardship after January 21 of 2020 and a couple of other questions. Provided they answer those questions correctly, then they'll move on to the next step of creating their account and being able to upload their documents. Documents that are going to be required: valid driver's license with their photo on it or government issue ID for all adults listed on the application. Doesn't have to be everybody in the home, just all the adults listed on the application. 30 days, most recent pay stubs, any SSI, SSD statements, any income award letters that they receive, or pension and retirement statements showing their monthly income. Bank statements for 60 days are going to be needed for all mortgagors, spouses, and other adults listed on the application. And again, I want to stress just the folks listed on the application. 2 years tax returns are going to be required, and a 4506C form authorizing the agency to view their taxes, the tax transcripts. And if that individual or household self-employed, a profit and loss statement is going to be required. If there's someone who has a 1 to 4 family unit, lease agreements are going to be required to show their rental income they're getting from those units. And any COVID related expenses, such again as burial expenses, any expenses that are included in the mortgage. Now, HOA fees, if they're included in the mortgage, they can count that as a COVID related expense. If it's outside of the mortgage, they're not going to be able to include HOA fees. But any encumbrances on the property, any tax liens on the property that might bring that property into foreclosure, or foreclosure proceedings have already started, they can then include that in their expenses with that $35,000. And the great thing about the program also, an applicant can be in bankruptcy and they can still get this assistance. They'd have to provide bankruptcy documents, and they'd have to be carefully reviewed to see where they are with that bankruptcy and what's allowed with the trustee, whether or not the home is included in the bankruptcy, things of that nature. But it does not disqualify them from applying and receiving these funds. To contact the HOF servicing team for IRMA, the email address is on screen. They're there Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The IRMA application portal can be accessed through our agency webpage at njhousing.gov. And applicants, once they enter their information through the portal, if they have any questions, any concern, any technical difficulties, they can either email or call the number on the screen. Now, really quick, I want to go through our single family down payment assistance program and mortgage programs. Our agency has a down payment assistance program that provides borrowers or qualified home buyers, with $10,000 for the down payment and or closing costs to purchase a home here in the state of New Jersey that's going to be their primary residence for the next 5 years at least. The borrowers for the down payment assistance program must be a first-time home buyer who has not had or owned a primary residence in the last 3 years. So you could be an investor who has a property across town, but you've been renting for the last 3 years, and you can prove that you're living someplace else, but you're not living in the property that you own. That's your investment property. You can take advantage of this program as a first-time home buyer and take advantage of the down payment assistance program. Just like the IRMA program, the assistance is a forgivable loan. The down payment assistance of $10,000 is a forgivable loan. It's a full $10,000. It's not up to $10,000. It's a full $10,000 that the homeowner, or home buyer, I should say, can use towards their down payment or the down payment and closing costs. And it can be coupled with any other grant that they might receive or gifts from loved ones or family members to help them purchase the home. And it's a zero interest, 5-year forgivable loan, no payments during that 5-year period. The homeowner, as I said earlier, must reside in that as their primary residence for 5 years without selling, refinancing, or defaulting. As long as they do that, the $10,000 is completely forgiven. In the event that the borrower conveys, refinances, or ceases to occupy that property during the 5-year period, all the down payment assistance funds must be payable. It's not prorated over a 5-year period. If they move out 1 year before the 5-year period is up, they got to pay back the entire $10,000. And our down payment assistance program is coupled with our FHA mortgage product, VA product, and USDA mortgage product, all our government insured products, as well as our conventional product. And I'm happy to announce that we finally have a conventional mortgage that we provide. Our first home mortgage programs are the first time home buyer mortgage, the homeward bound mortgage, and the HFA Advantage mortgage, which is our conventional mortgage program. And again, they all can be coupled with our down payment assistance program. All the mortgages at the agency are 30-year fixed mortgages. We do not offer any adjustable rate mortgages. The rate is fixed for the government and the conventional insured loans. And the interest rates are determined by our agency each and every morning. And we send those rates out to our lenders by 9 a.m. every morning. Unlike in the past, I mean, like maybe 15, 20 years ago, our interest rates today are competitive, extremely competitive with anybody in the market, which is a good thing. Right now, the interest rate is around 4.25%. It was as low as 2% at one point, but those rates fluctuate depending on market conditions, but right now it's at 4%. And the great thing about all our programs, whether you have a 620 credit score or 800 credit score, you get the same interest rate. So there's no loan level price adjustments or discounts or origination points charged on any of the loans that are written through our program. Our government insured mortgages, as I said earlier, must be a first time home buyer, someone defined as who has not had ownership interest in their primary residence for the previous 3 years. The minimum credit score is 620 or greater, and the borrower may not possess liquid assets to close a loan at 80% loan to value or less. So if they got, $100,000 sitting in a checking account or savings account, they're not going to qualify for this $10,000 because they really don't need it. When we say liquid assets, that's exactly what we mean. We're not talking about retirement, 401k, pension, or anything like that. We're talking about money that's easily accessible that they can utilize to purchase a home if they need it. Eligible properties, again, has to be in the state of New Jersey, can be a 1 to 4 unit, condo, townhome, manufactured home that's permanently affixed to real property. The borrower has to occupy one of the units as their primary residence. And this is for the government insured programs such as FHA, VA, and USDA. Unfortunately, deed restricted or affordable properties aren't eligible for the government mortgage programs due to FHA rules and restrictions. But I'm happy to say that the conventional mortgage program will allow for some deed restricted properties and low to moderate income properties to be purchased. That's a new game changer for us and home buyers here in the state of New Jersey, particularly low to moderate income. Our conventional mortgage program is through Freddie Mac, their HFA Advantage conventional mortgage, part of their Home Possible eligibility program. And again, it's only 3% down payment. And we're providing $10,000 to help them with that down payment. Now, while it is a conventional loan, there is mortgage insurance, but it's reduced for the homeowner. And again, just 3% down. And credit score, minimum credit score of 620 or greater, everybody gets the same interest rate. And the household income must not exceed the area median income as determined by Freddie Mac. And this is a little bit different from the other programs. The other programs, the AMI is determined by HUD. Freddie Mac has their own area median income guidelines and they're a little bit lower than HUD's guidelines, but still, it can still help a whole lot of folks here throughout the state of New Jersey qualify for a conventional mortgage. And lastly, on this slide, borrowers do not need to be first-time homebuyers to take advantage of the conventional mortgage without the down payment assistance. If you receive the down payment assistance, you have to be a first-time homebuyer. But if you want just a mortgage for a home that you want to buy, whether it's existing home or new home, you can take advantage of the mortgage program that we offer at a low interest rate, and you do not have to be a first-time home buyer. Eligible properties, as with all our programs, got to be here in the state of New Jersey. The property must be either a new, for the conventional program here, it can be a new or existing single unit home, condo or townhouse. This program, the conventional program, multifamily properties do not qualify. Co-ops do not qualify, and manufactured homes aren't eligible. So if you have someone who wants to purchase a multifamily or 1 to 4 family unit and take advantage of living in one unit and renting the other units out to build rental income, they must use one of the other 3 programs. But the conventional mortgage is only for single family residences only. And lastly, on this particular slide, deed restricted affordable properties may be eligible. When we say may be eligible, most are eligible, but if there's some verbiage or restriction in the deed that needs to be corrected or changed, and we can't work that out, then that property won't be eligible. But most deed restricted affordable properties are eligible. I hope I didn't talk too fast. It was quite a bit of information, but I wanted to try to get it out there and let folks know that resources are available to them, whether they're struggling with an existing mortgage or they're looking to purchase a home in the very near future. There's resources and monies available to help them do that. Again, my name is Jesse Crawford. My information is on the screen. You can reach out to me either by email or phone at any time. And all the information that I just went over is on our website, as well as the IRMA portal for the emergency mortgage assistance, where folks can go and apply. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jesse. We really appreciate you coming out tonight and being able to share this amazing information about these 2 fantastic programs that the state offers. Thank you so much for all of that information.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You know, the COVID pandemic has hurt a lot of good, hardworking people. And myself working every single day with residents, trying to get people help, people that are struggling with government agencies. I knew firsthand how hard it was to access resources, just basically because the biggest barrier is people not knowing what is available. So knowing that these great programs existed, I wanted to make sure, as your councilwoman, that we brought this information to you, and that we're able to share these fantastic services with all of our residents. So before I go and we go to question and answers, I did just want to take another moment to commend and to thank all of our panelists this evening, from our wonderful Commissioner Felicia Hodson to the great Malika Morris at the Burlington County Housing Hub, as well as our wonderful Jesse Crawford at the New Jersey Housing and Mortgage Finance Agency. The assistance that you provide to our residents throughout the state, county, and in our township here is vital to our recovery, and we truly appreciate all that you do every day. And I do want to end that with thanking all of our residents who have come out tonight and who have joined us throughout this webinar. Thank you so much, and I really hope that you have obtained some valuable information that can either help you or a friend of yours or a neighbor. And we will be sharing this information on our social media multiple times. It'll also be up on our website. So if you want to go back and access the information again and reshare it to someone that you know that might be in need of this information as well, please definitely do so. Thank you very much. And with that said, I'll hand it back over to Stacey Webb to start the question and answer portion.
Thank you, Councilwoman Espinoza. Thank you to our speakers as well. We do have some questions and I see a hand raised. So I'm going to get to the questions first. I'm trying to go in order and then I'll get to the raised hand. So the first question we received was, what is the phone number for people looking to rent low income? And I'm not sure if that's for Malika Morris. Do you, I believe this was during the time you were speaking.
So if you're looking for low income housing, the phone number is 609-265-5185. We will send you a list, an affordable housing list. Also, if you do have an email and you call, we're more than happy to email you the affordable housing list. So contact the Housing Hub. And also, if you like to explore our website, you can Google Housing Hub. It'll be the first link that comes up.
Thank you. And I think you answered the second question, which was where and how to apply for low income housing. Thank you. Okay, we have a raised hand from Alan. Alan, I'm going to allow you to talk. You can talk now and ask your question.
Okay, thank you. For June of last year, I was approved for 3 months rent, and that was approved on January 17th of 2022. They told me that the check was mailed out January 25th, 2022. It was never received by the rental office. I am being told I have to pay the rent until the rental check comes that I was approved for. And I keep calling them and they keep telling me we'll put a trace on it and it still hasn't arrived. I don't know what to do.
Mr. Cohen, do you know who you applied with? Was it the Department of Community Affairs?
Yes.
Okay, the Department of Community Affairs, I'm guessing that the people that you were speaking with that said that they put a trace on it, was that DCA?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so we've seen the situation happen throughout the years. If they can provide you the tracing number and see if it was ever received by an office, and if not, most agencies will reissue. I cannot speak on behalf of DCA, but they can use the tracing number, see if someone ever cashed it, and if not, most agencies will reissue it, but they have to track and see if someone received it.
Okay, because they told me it takes about 60 days to trace it. They didn't give me a number. They said there's no number to give me. And it's just very frustrating that I have to pay rent when I'm not able to really do it.
So I would encourage you to call the Housing Hub. It does sometimes take 60 days to trace it because the address that is listed, if there's nothing that the landlord provides that says attention to John Doe, it has to go through the proper channels before it gets to someone. I would encourage you to call the Housing Hub. Sometimes we do have a contact at DCA that is able to provide an update, but if not, you can always request that number, the tracing number that they have.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate your help.
My pleasure.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any other questions at this time for the panelists? Okay. I do not see any at this time. So I want to thank everyone for answering the questions and for coming and for your questions. As Councilwoman Espinoza said, we will be sharing this. So if you have any further questions, please do reach out to the panelists. At this time, I will say good night and thank you again.